on CityCast Nashville, we're saying farewell to our dear friend and contributor, Jen Harbin, aka The Hungry Loner on Instagram. She's off to New York City, but before she goes, we talk about what she's learned from Nashville's restaurant scene and how we can all keep showing up for the local spots we love that make our city so special. It's Thursday, October 23rd. I'm your host, Marie Cecile Anderson, and this is what Nashville's talking about. Jen!
Marie!
You're abandoning us.
Oh, not
Why?
true. I'll still be cheering you on from the sidelines. I got a new job. I'm moving to New York. Hopefully carry on some foodie things there since it is quite the food city. So,
well, we cannot wait to see your posts. We can always follow along. So that's exciting for us too. All right, we're going to do a fun little exit interview for the Hungry Loner. We're going to make it fun. I'm going to hold back my tears. You have eaten all across Nashville. Do you have a favorite Nashville restaurant of all time?
Oh, that's so hard. Yes, I do. It's Locust. They have a certain way that they do things, and that's evident in how they communicate with you, how they welcome you into the restaurant, how it's designed even, and then how that translates into the food. One dish that really stuck out to me, like they have a ton of amazing dishes, right? Like everyone knows the dessert, like ice dish. Everyone knows them from their dumplings, their beef tartare. Those are like, I would say like the standout Locust, quintessential like Locust dishes that everyone really knows and loves. But whenever they've introduced like new things to the menu, it's just like so cool to see like their creative interpretation of how they do it. And it's often very simple, but it's executed in such a flawless, like interesting way that it just surprises you. And it's also a very calming environment, I feel like even, well, sorry, it's weird. It's like they play like death metal sometimes, but it's not like calming in that aspect, but it is, the space itself is calming. And you do feel like you're kind of in someone's home a little bit. Like they make you feel that way. They're just like the top, they're hard to beat. They really are. I mean, there's a lot of great restaurants out there. But when it comes to just like looking back at how many times I've eaten there, how consistent it's been, I've seen their continuous evolution of them, and they still just continue to stand out and just do things really well. And I just commend them so much for like what they're able to do for so long.
What restaurant will you miss the most?
Probably Peninsula, because I feel like I have had the opportunity to dine there in very special like celebrations and moments. And they also, too, are, I feel like, one of the top restaurants in Nashville. And when it comes to just like hospitality, the food itself, the warmth that they bring to like the experience. So Ray DiPietro is someone that I've known for over 20 years. We used to work in the music business together at Universal. And when I first moved back to Nashville, I reconnected with him because it'd been a long time. And he actually took me to Peninsula for the first time. And I was just blown away. I mean, this was just, this was like right after like COVID had just started to open back up. And I was like being reintroduced to the Nashville food scene. And I was like, whoa, this is here in Nashville now. This is crazy. I've had a lot of special moments in that restaurant. And I also just like really love like Dorsia, which is it had been monthly sort of, it's like a dance party environment, but then they also do like this killer burger and fries that's amazing. And I don't know, they're also very community, I feel like, driven and integrated and supportive. Like they partner with a lot of people locally, and so that's another place I'll miss quite a bit as well.
Which chef or restaurant owner are you the most proud of when you think about how much they've grown since they first started?
Edgar Victoria, who is the chef owner of Alabrije. I first met Edgar when he was selling tamales at the Richland Park Farmers Market. I was like, holy shit, these tamales are incredible. I have to come back next week and get them. And this is when I was going to the farmers market like every week. I tried salsa there, and then he started doing tacos, and it just became a regular thing. I would go every week. And then he started to expand, of course, he had like a taco truck, and then he did a deal at the stadium. And then now he has his own brick and mortar, his own restaurant, and it's all him. He doesn't have investors and backing. So it's been really just inspiring to watch his journey from like when I first met him and to see how he's evolved over the years. And I know it's like such incredibly hard work, especially to do it on your own. And I'm super proud of him. And it's been amazing to see like how he's overcome, I'm sure, so many hurdles in that journey and like to where he is today. So really proud of him.
Which pop-up deserves a brick and mortar restaurant right now?
Foxton Izakaya. They do. That was
no hesitation there. I
no
love
hesitation. That. Tillman, he's a chef. He is so talented. His ramen, I think, is the best in town. His noodles are the best in town. He also does great other dishes as part of that too. Like he does like ceviche. I mean, so flavorful. He also just has a way of just like blending certain ingredients and flavor combinations in a really elegant, standout way. Yeah, the yakitori. In earlier days, his earlier pop-up days, he did more yakitori. And they were all just so good. He also just incorporated vegetables in that as well. They have a regular pop-up residency at Proper Sake right now on Fridays and Saturdays. And they've been doing pop-ups for a long time. They've had residencies for a long time. And like, I just want them to have their permanent spot because they're so good. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. This is great. I'm learning actually a lot of new places. What will be your final meal in Nashville?
Oh gosh, final meal.
You can never come back once you leave. Just kidding.
What would be my final? I mean, it has to be locust, right? I mean, that I feel like. And I have to get like the whole menu. I mean, it's definitely one that I already have booked tonight. And that's like one I was very intentional about. Like, I have to have this before I leave.
Even though we are super sad to say goodbye to Jen Harbin, aka The Hungry Loner on Instagram, we at CityCast Nashville, we're still dishing up the best of Nashville's food scene thanks to local writers like Margaret Littman, Mark Blankenship, Anna Saba, and Chris Chamberlain, just to name a few. These folks, y'all, they really know Nashville's food scene. They're friends with the chefs, they know the hidden gems locals swear by, and they can tell you exactly where to go for whatever you're craving. When you become a CityCast Nashville neighbor, that's our exclusive membership program for those people who do not know, you're helping support keeping local voices like theirs telling these stories for foodies that make Nashville, well, taste like home. Join us today. Become a CityCast Nashville neighbor at membership.citycast.fm. All right, Jen, one thing we know very much about you is that you are so passionate about our indie food scene here in Nashville. And we've talked so much about it and how hard it is for smaller restaurants and shops to survive here. Just the last couple of years, I was looking back to see like what beloved institutions here have closed. So I saw McCabe's Pub after 41 years closed. Mafioso's, 21 years.
2 for 1 Tuesdays, R.I.P.
I know. And then Lou, I love the pancake at Lou. And they were only open for 5 years, but still, I mean.
That was a heartbreaker.
That was a heartbreaker.
I found it to just be so special and unique for Nashville. Yeah, that was a hard one because I just feel like the chef was also very focused, I feel like, on trying to make the food that she offered work because, you know, she sourced from local farms, which, as we know, it becomes expensive. And then you don't want to pass that charge on to your customers, right? So I feel like trying to find a balance there is really hard for people.
Yeah, I just loved going there because you felt like you were just invited into like your grandma's home.
Exactly.
To sit down and just have a real comforting experience.
Yeah, it's a loss for Nashville for sure.
In your opinion, can you speak to why so many old favorites have closed recently?
I think the reality of Nashville, which you've seen, is just with construction and just real estate in general, is just booming here right now. And depending on the cost of rent of that space, I think factors in a lot of what that business can do in terms, and like restaurants, as we know, are already like the margins are already so thin. And then you factor in food costs and wage, and like because also the market is becoming more competitive, I feel like it's a lot harder to find probably people who want to work for lower wages. They need to make a living too, and like Nashville's becoming increasingly a much higher cost of living city, and so people have to sometimes just go where the money is. I think it's just a combination of a lot of factors. I do think though that like real estate and rent plays a major role in that.
Yeah, and I'm sure like an established place like Pastis they have backing, they have investors, and they can come and get, prime real estate to open.
Absolutely. And I think those larger like hospitality groups too also have a strong, I would say, like operations function. I think a lot of that contributes to the bottom line and how efficient you run things.
Well, so what can we do to help these places, our beloved little small spots, locally owned mom and pop places? What can we as diners do to help support them when they're competing against, like you said, these larger hospitality groups or corporate chains?
I would say a small thing that every person can do is just be more intentional about where you dine and being more like open to communicating that to other people. Like I have found myself sometimes when I have friends in town or friends who want to get together and they're like, oh, can we go here? Can we go there? Like throwing out suggestions and knowing what I know about certain restaurants and who they are and having a personal relationship, I try to advocate going there instead. But I think just speaking up a little bit about like, hey, we should go here because they support other businesses locally or because I know that they source their food from this particular farm that I really love, just kind of like figuring out how to instill that sense of community just by in your choices and being more intentional about like where you dine, if that makes sense.
Well, it's been interesting. I have a friend who's coming to visit next weekend from New York, and she's like, I'm going to go here and I want to go here. And it's all these like large corporate places that she's heard of nationwide. And I'm like, nope, we're not going there. We're going to Margot's.
Yes. Margot, I was just there recently.
Yes. Gosh. I mean, there's lots. We're going to Kisser. We're just going to the local gems because I'm sorry, we're not going to do what you've read in the New York Times.
Right.
Sorry. Although Kisser was in the New York Times, I take that back. But you know what I mean.
I know what you mean, yes.
You know so many of the young chefs in town. What do you hear them wish for the most?
I feel like what they really wish is just for people to like really try to understand and enjoy the food and how it's prepared, the way that it's prepared. I think sometimes a lot of people ask for substitutions or they have opinions about like, oh, this isn't authentic or like, oh, or I've had it done this way here. And part of being a chef is being an artist and being creative and knowing creative people and artists myself, and can imagine that a lot of chefs embody the same kind of way that they live and their creativity as well. I feel like they're putting themselves and their story and their art out into the world. And I think that they just wish for people to enjoy it the way that they create it.
If I'm out to dinner with somebody and they start rattling off, can you substitute this or do this or this? I'm like, I'm leaving. I'm not going to be sitting here. It embarrasses me because I have such respect for chefs. And especially if you're going to a nice place and that they're well known for a certain dish, I'm not going to ask them to make it differently for me and my mouth.
Absolutely. And I'm curious I don't know like how many times this happens, but I am curious sometimes like how many chefs have to sometimes make concessions of like what they put on the menu or how they put things on the menu because diners and the market is very different in different places. And so they kind of have to form somewhat to what diners want, right? In order to keep making food that people will buy. So there has to be some kind of like bridge there, but it's a hard job.
All right. So as the hungry loner, you have really made a name for yourself here in Nashville and uplifting the fact of like going out and dining alone is cool. What advice would you give to someone who wants to follow in your footsteps and embrace eating out alone?
I got really comfortable with dining alone because through travel, I think that helped me kind of become more open and comfortable with just sitting alone. And kind of like when you're traveling, it almost feels more like, oh, this is more acceptable. Like, of course, you dine alone when you travel. But when you're at home in your own city, it can feel a bit weird, right? Like, oh, like I'm just like going to eat by myself. Do people think that there's like, oh, I don't have anyone to eat with, or that, I think there's a lot of thoughts that go through your mind around like, oh, if I'm seen dining alone, like what does that tell other people, or what do other people think about that? So I would say just forget that. And try not to think about those things and really be really intentional about what experience you want from that meal and from that restaurant. So when I dine alone, I want to be able to like be in the moment in that restaurant with those people in the restaurant, whether that's like the person who's behind the bar or the server or even the chef that comes over. Like I want to be able to like actually be present with them versus like a friend or someone who is dining with me, which is, I feel like, a different dynamic. To really enjoy that meal for what it is. Like if you love food and you're a foodie, or if you just love food, like go just like treat yourself to a good meal. Like, sure, you can go and have like a fast casual thing if it's like lunch and you just need to like go eat by yourself, but really treat it like a treat. Like really treat it like a special moment. Like be selfish about it. Be selfishly like, you know, like,
I love that. Yeah. Be selfish. Yeah. You deserve it.
You deserve it. Yeah. Just like, especially if you work hard, like go like enjoy a good meal. Like you don't have to cook it. Someone just brings it to you. It's probably amazing. You get all, you know, it's just like enjoy it.
Well, looking back, is there a post or a review that you're most proud of?
A post that I'm really proud of, that means a lot to me, is like a roundup that I did in January of this year for what I reflected on were the best pop-ups in Nashville. That's something I've always loved about the Nashville food scene, is that we have pop-ups here and we have chefs that have left fine dining and they're wanting to experiment and do something on their own, or they've been inspired by someone or something in their life to just like venture out and do something new. And I feel like those pop-ups are a creative force in the Nashville food scene, and it really continues to push the boundaries of what is acceptable or what is like mainstream in the food scene here. So the post that I did in January was a few different pop-ups. So Banwari Jam. So Dustin Gonsalves, he blends like Guyanese roots with like Brooklyn's Caribbean culture into these very delicious, like bold dishes. It's hard to catch them sometimes, but that is like one that's like sticks out. Foxy and Izakaya is on there, which I already mentioned. There's egg drip, which the Korean like the Korean sandwiches with bulgogi and egg. They're fantastic. Pizza Lolo, Secret Bodega, Skits, and Sap Sap. All of them, I feel like, are these pop-ups that still are out there, popping up or having different residencies, and they're still just continuing to make really great food and partner also like from a community aspect. I see a lot, and I feel like it's really important to support those people because a lot of previous pop-ups are now restaurants. Like, you know, Kisser was a pop-up. Locust at one point was a pop-up. It's really special. It's a really unique part of Nashville to have seen that happen for a lot of people. And so I think it's part of our collective responsibility, I would say, to continue to move those businesses and those creative people forward, like for the community. And because I think that they are a part of Nashville's identity. And as Nashville continues to grow and evolve, I feel like its identity is changed quite a bit. But the people who are from here or have like started their businesses here for a while and have integrated themselves into the fabric of Nashville, I feel like being able to give them an opportunity to continue to thrive here is really, really important.
Well, it sounds like you've just made a call to action to our listeners, and that is to obviously support these pop-ups, follow their journeys, and then support them, obviously, when they do get their brick and mortars. Well, Jen, speaking of supporting you always, we love you, and we really wish you the best to New York City. Cannot wait to watch what you develop on social media. Everybody follow her at The Hungry Loner on Instagram.
Love you guys too. Thank you.
That's all for today here on CityCast Nashville. And don't forget, you can support this show and get great perks by becoming a CityCast Nashville neighbor at membership.citycast.fm. If you enjoyed the show, why not tell your friends, rate the show, leave us a review, and subscribe to our Hey Nashville newsletter. We'll be back tomorrow morning with more news from around the city. Toodles!